dear students, welcome to the first session on the chapter Dissolution of Partnership Firm. Here in this session, we are going to discuss about meaning of dissolution of partnership firm, different modes of dissolution of partnership firm, the various circumstances under which a firm is dissolved, then journal entries and ledger accounts to be prepared at the time of dissolution of partnership firm, and finally about differences between revaluation account and realization account. So let's begin the session now. So let's understand what is meant by dissolution of partnership firm. Dissolution of partnership firm is the process whereby the business of the firm will be completely closed down. Let's see the exact meaning here. When the relation between all the partners of the firm comes to an end, that is called dissolution of firm. Section 39 of Indian Partnership Act of 1932 provides that dissolution of partnership between all the partners of the firm is called dissolution of firm. It implies complete breakdown of relation of partnership between all the partners. So it simply means that when there is dissolution of partnership or when there is dissolution of relation between all the partners of the firm, that results in dissolution of partnership firm. As you know that when they form the partnership firm, they enter into a partnership agreement. When the partnership agreement is entered into, they establish a kind of relationship between all the partners in the firm as partners in the firm. Okay, so now when the firm is going for dissolution, whatever the relationship that existed between or among the partners, that comes to an end. When the relationship between the partners comes to an end, that results in dissolution of partnership firm. Whatever the business they were carrying on so far, that will be completely closed down. Then let's see what are the different modes of dissolution of partnership firm. There are mainly two kinds of dissolution. The first one by the order of the court and the second one without intervention of the court. So in the first case there will be court's interference for the purpose of dissolution. In the second case there will not be court's interference. The partners themselves decide to go for dissolution. Let's consider the first one, that is when there is interference of the court for dissolution, how the dissolution happens. A partner may apply to the court for getting the firm dissolved. On getting such application by any one of the partners, court may proceed to order the dissolution of firm in the following circumstances. Here what happens is that one of the partners of the firm who does not want the firm to continue its business file a petition in the court saying that their firm should be dissolved. After hearing the proceedings, if the court feels that it is very much proper to dissolve the business of the partnership firm, then the court will order that the firm should be dissolved. Okay, so that will happen in the following circumstances. The first one, if any of the partner becomes unsound mind means he becomes lunatic or mad person. Okay, in such a case also the other person who is applying in the court may ask for the dissolution of partnership firm and court may issue the order. The second case is if a partner other than partner filing the suit is guilty of intentionally and persistently committing breach of partnership agreement. So here what happens is that let's say there are two partners, Mr. A and Mr. B. Mr. A is continuously breaching the partnership agreement. He is not obeying whatever the terms and conditions mentioned in the partnership agreement. Then the other partner, that is Mr. B, will file the petition in the court for the dissolution of partnership firm because he does not want the firm to continue its business. Okay, in such a case also the court may issue the order for dissolution. Then the third one, if a partner other than partner filing the suit is transferred whole of his interest in the firm to a third party without the consent of other partners. Okay, if I am a partner in the partnership firm, I cannot directly transfer my shareholdings or interest in the partnership firm to a third party, maybe to my brother or sister or whoever it is. I cannot directly transfer without taking the permission or without taking the consent from other partners. If any partner has done that, then the remaining partners may go to the court for dissolution. Okay, the next one, if a partner other than the partner filing the suit is guilty of misconduct. Okay, if the other partner is engaged in illegal activities or if he is doing some misconduct in the partnership business, if is misappropriating the funds of the partnership firm and not obeying the terms and conditions which are stated in the partnership agreement, in such a case the other remaining partners may go to the court for dissolution of partnership firm. Then fifth one, if a partner other than the partner filing the suit has become disabled to perform his duties as a partner. So let's say that there are only two partners. So let's consider the same example. There are two partners, Mr. A and Mr. B. Mr. A is the sleeping partner. He has just made the investment. He is not actively taking part in the business of the partnership firm. It is Mr. B who is taking care of the business of the firm in day-to-day activities. Okay. So now Mr. B, who was the active partner, has become incapable or he has become disabled to perform his duties as an active partner in the firm. Anyway, the other partner, he cannot come and actively take part. So in that case, they may go for filing the petition in the court for dissolution. Sixth one, if the court is satisfied that the business of the firm cannot be carried on except at a loss. So here, if the partners are incurring losses year after year, there is no meaning in continuing the business of the firm. In such a case, one of the partners may file the petition in the court for dissolution of partnership firm. So these are the various circumstances under which the one of the partners may apply in the court for dissolution of partnership firm, and the court will order for the dissolution of partnership firm. Now let's take up the second case where there is no interference of the court. If all the partners are willing and hereby agree to dissolve the firm, in such a case, the second kind of dissolution will happen. There is no interference of the court, but the partners themselves take the decision. Who are willing to go for dissolution will take the decision and dissolve the partnership firm. That will happen in the following cases. On the death of any partner, let's say there are only two partners, one of them dies. In that case, one single partner cannot continue the business of the firm, so they may take the decision to go for dissolution. If any partner become insolvent, if the partner has become insolvent in the future, wherever there is need for additional capital contribution, that person may not be in a position to contribute out of his private property or private estate. In that case also they may go for dissolution. The next one, on the expiry of duration of the firm. If the firm is formed for a particular duration, maybe for 5 years or 10 years, after that particular fixed duration expires, they cannot continue the business of the firm, so they have to dissolve their business. The next one, on the completion of the venture. Venture means one particular project. If the partnership firm was formed to complete one particular project or one particular venture, after it is completed, they have to dissolve their firm. Okay, so these are the various circumstances under which the partners themselves take the decision to go for dissolution. Let's take up the next concept, that is circumstances of dissolution of partnership firm. On this concept, you may have one question for 6 marks. When the firm was constituted for a fixed term on the expiry of the term, so that's what I said in the previous slide. If the partnership firm was formed for a fixed duration, maybe for 5 years or 10 years, once that fixed period expires, then they have to go for dissolution. The next one, on the completion of particular venture, if it is constituted for a purpose, if they have constituted a firm for completing one particular venture or project, in that case, after that particular project is completed, they have to go for dissolution. Then on the death of any partner, if one of the partners dies and if other partners are not willing to continue the business, they can go for dissolution. On the retirement of a partner, here also, when the partners get retired, then other partners, if they don't want to continue with the business, then they can go for dissolution. Then on the insolvency of the partner. So these are the various circumstances under which the firm's business will be dissolved. The next one, dissolution of partnership firm. Here, what are the journal entries and ledger accounts we need to prepare? So far, we have seen the chapters, that is admission of a partner, retirement of a partner, admission cum retirement, and death of a partner. So in all these cases, we have prepared 3 accounts. The first one is revaluation account, the second one partners capital account, and the third one balance sheet. Okay, but here in the case of dissolution, in the first step, instead of preparing the revaluation account, we are going to prepare the realization account. The reason is that in the case of admission or retirement or death of a partner, the remaining partner have the intention to continue the business of the firm. That is why the partners decide to revalue the assets and liabilities. But in this case, the partners have decided to go for dissolution. There is no question of continuing the business of the firm. So that is why they are going to prepare the realization account. What is meant by realization account? Realization account is prepared in order to record the realization of assets and payment of liabilities to outsiders. So when the dissolution happens, the procedure is that whatever the assets available in the firm, that should be realized. Means they are going to sell those assets and get money, and the sale proceed whatever they get by realizing the asset, that will be used for paying the outside liabilities. Still, if any surplus amount remains, then that will be used for repaying the capital to the partners, because they have contributed the capital at the time of forming the partnership firm. Okay, so that is the first account which we are going to prepare in the case of dissolution. The second one, as usual, we are going to prepare the partners capital account. Then the last one is, again, in the previous chapters we have prepared balance sheet, but in this case, instead of preparing balance sheet, we are going to prepare the cash or bank account. So these are the three accounts which we are going to prepare in this case. Now when we are going to prepare all these accounts, we need to pass some journal entries. Let's see what are the journal entries we are going to prepare. As we discussed in the previous slide, in the first step, we are going to prepare the realization account. Realization account is an account which is opened at the time of dissolution of the firm to record the realization of assets and payment of liabilities to outsiders. So while preparing the realization account, we have to pass total 9 entries. Let's see what are those entries. In the first entry, for transferring all the realizable assets given in the books to the realization account at their book values, which means that you have to find what are the realizable assets. Realizable assets are those assets by realizing which you should be able to get some money. Okay, so now those realizable assets will be transferred to the realization account at their book values. So here assets till here it was showing a debit balance. Okay, but now when you're going to transfer that, you have to credit assets account, and to which account you're transferring? Realization account. So the entry would be realization account data to various assets account. Then the second entry, for transferring the specific provision against assets, say provision for bad debts, provision for discount on debtors, depreciation, etc., given in the books to the realization account at their book values. Okay, so far we have seen the balance sheet in the previous chapters. If you let's see, there is debtors amounting to 50,000 given in the inner column, less RBD, reserve for bad debt, 2,000. In the outer column they have given 48,000. Okay, so now what does it mean? This is the provision created against an asset, that is debtors. Now in this case, in the first entry, while transferring the asset, debtors will be transferred at the gross value of 50,000. In the second entry, this RBD will be transferred. Asset shows a debit balance, provision shows a credit balance. Now when you are going to transfer that, you have to give debit to the provision account. So the entry would be concerned specific provision account data to realization account. Okay, then let's see the third entry, for transferring all the liabilities to outsiders given in the books to the realization account at their book value. So here whatever the liabilities that is given in the balance sheet, we have to identify which are the outside liabilities. The examples are creditors, bills payable, bank loan, etc. So whichever outside liabilities you have, those should be transferred to realization account at their book values. As you know that liability shows a credit balance, now when you are going to transfer that, you have to give debit to the liabilities account. So the entry would be various liabilities account data to realization account. The next one, for realization of assets in cash at their realized values. So now you have transferred the assets to the realization account. Now you are going to realize, means you are going to sell those assets and get the money. So in this case the entry would be bank account data to realization account. The next one, for assets taken over by partners at their agreed values. If you are realizing the asset, then you would have written bank account data to realization account, but here one of the partners is taking over one of the assets. In that case, instead of writing bank account, instead of debiting the bank account, you have to debit the concerned partner's capital account. So in that case the entry would be partner's capital account data to realization account. The next one, for the payment to the outside liabilities, the entry would be realization account data to cash or bank account. For the liabilities taken over by the partners, so if you are paying the liabilities, then you would have credited the cash or bank account. But if it is taken over by one of the partners, then instead of crediting the cash or bank account, you have to credit partner's capital account. So the entry would be realization account data to partner's capital account. Then the eighth entry is for payment of realization expenses. Here there might be two cases. The first one, when the realization expenses are paid by the partnership firm. In that case, the entry would be realization account data to cash or bank account. In the second case, firm is not paying, but who is paying that? Partner is paying. So instead of writing here to cash or bank account, you have to credit concerned partners capital account. So the entry would be realization account data to concerned partners capital account. After passing all these entries, we are going to close the realization account and see what is the balancing figure. If you get the balancing figure in the debit side, that represent profit on realization, the entry will be realization account data to all partners account. This will be transferred in the profit sharing ratio. If you get the balancing figure in the credit side, that represent loss on realization, again that will be transferred to all partners capital account. In the profit sharing ratio, the entry would be all partners capital account data to realization account. So these are the 9 entries which we come across while preparing the realization account in the first step. Then the second step is preparing the partner's capital account. As usual, first we will be recording what is the opening capital balance as given in the question. After that, we have to transfer the general reserve balance or any other accumulated reserve balance, profit and loss account, credit balance given in the liability side. All this must be transferred to all partners capital account in the profit sharing ratio. The entry will be general reserve account data, other accumulated reserve account data, profit and loss account data to all partners capital account. Then if there is any debit balance of profit and loss account, if it is given in the asset side, the entry will be all partners capital account data to profit and loss account. Okay. In the third step, we are going to settle the partners capital account. That is, when you close the partner's capital account, if you get the balancing figure in the debit side, that represents surplus in the capital account. So that should be paid off to the partners. On the other hand, if you get the balancing figure in the credit side, that represent deficit or shortage balance, so much amount the partners have to bring in. But before you make the adjustment for this surplus or deficit, if any partner has advanced loan to the firm, that should be paid off. The entry will be concerned partners loan account data to bank account. Okay. Then now the entry for paying off the surplus amount or bringing in the shortage amount. If there is surplus, in that case the entry will be partners capital account data to bank account. If there is deficit, so much amount the partners have to bring in that case the entry would be cash or bank account data to partners capital account. So these are the various journal entries which we are going to pass at the time of preparing realization account, partners capital account and cash or bank account. Okay, let's see the format of realization account. How does it look? The first entry for transferring all the realizable asset to the realization account at their book values, realization account data to various assets account. Then the next entry for the provision, transferring the provision against any asset. If it is there, it comes here in the credit side by provisions account, provision on various assets account. Third entry for transferring the various external liabilities at the book values by external liabilities account. The next entry for realizing the assets of the firm, cash or bank account data to realization account. The next one, if the partners have taken over the asset, then the entry will be partners capital account data to realization account. While paying the liabilities to the outsiders, the entry will be realization account data to cash or bank account. For liabilities taken over, realization account data to partners capital account. The next entry will be for paying the realization expenses. If it is paid by the firm, then the entry will be realization account data to cash or bank account. If it is paid by the partner, then the entry would be realization account data to partner's capital account. After this, we are going to close the realization account. If we get the balancing figure here, it represents profit on realization. The entry will be realization account data to partner's capital account. On the other hand, if we get the balancing figure here in the credit side, that represents loss on realization. The entry will be partner's capital account data to realization account. Okay. Then this is the format in which we are going to prepare the partner's capital account. As usual, first we are going to record the opening capital balances as given in the question. Then the general reserve will be transferred, profit and loss account balance will be transferred. Then realization result, if it is a profit you are going to write here, if it is a loss you are going to debit that. Then the entry for asset taken over, the entry for liability taken over. After this we are going to close the partner's capital account. If we get the balancing figure here, that represents surplus, so much amount should be paid off to the partners. The entry will be partner's capital account data to cash or bank account. If you get the balancing figure here, then it represents shortage in the partner's capital account, so much amount they have to bring in. The entry will be bank account data to partner's capital account, so by bank. This is the format in which we are going to prepare the cash or bank account. First we are going to record the opening cash or bank account balance. Then we are going to make the entry for asset realized, payment of outside liabilities. Okay, then if any partner had advanced loan, that should be paid off. The entry is partner's loan account data to cash or bank account, you're going to write here. On the other hand, if any partner had taken the loan from firm, that will be recovered from the partner, so the entry will be cash or bank account data to partner's loan account. And finally, whatever the balance paid off, the surplus amount paid off to the partner, that will be recorded here. If there is shortage, that will be recovered, that will be written here. Okay, so this is the format in which cash or bank account is prepared. Then the last concept, that is the differences between revaluation account and realization account. There are various bases based on which we can differentiate between revaluation account and realization account. This is an important theory concept for theory question in the semester exam. Please make a note of it. Now let's see what are the differences between revaluation account and realization account. First difference could be on the basis of meaning. Revaluation account is related with the revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities, but realization account is prepared to realize the asset and to pay the liabilities. Okay, then what is the objective of preparing the revaluation account and realization account? Revaluation account, the main purpose is to record the fluctuating values of assets and liabilities and to calculate the profit or loss on revaluation. But the main purpose of realization account is to calculate the profit or loss after realizing the assets and payment of liabilities. Then what is the need for preparing the revaluation account or realization account? Revaluation account is needed at the time of admission and retirement of, on even at the time of death of the partner, but realization account is prepared at the time of dissolution of partnership firm. Then the result, how we are going to transfer the profit or loss calculated in the revaluation account will be distributed among the old partners only, but in case of realization account it will be transferred to all partners capital account. So there are other bases also, you can list down extra 2 or 3 points here, that is differences between revaluation account and realization account. So these are the theory concepts of dissolution of partnership firm. Let us take up the problems in the next session. Thank you for watching.